Hello, Pop Fest. How's everybody doing? Good, good. I'm Natalie Abrams, senior writer at Entertainment Weekly. Now, back in 2012, it all started with one man. He spent 5 years on an island and returned to protect his city. From there, Arrow, the CW's flagship series, has now grown to add a speedster in The Flash, the Maiden of Might in Supergirl, and now a ragtag team of legends. So how did we get here? Well, let's bring them out to find out. She started off as the canary on Arrow and now has become the leader on Legends, Katie Lotz. He is the fastest man alive as the Scarlet Speedster on The Flash, Grant Gustin. He will not fail this city as the Green Arrow, Stephen Amell. She's now taking flight on the CW as Supergirl, Melissa Benoist. And he's the brains behind it all, executive producer Greg Berlanti. All right, guys, it's so great to see you all here today, but you guys have actually been working together pretty often recently shooting this four-way crossover. Can you talk about what it was like to get to team up and work all together?
A lot of leather.
It was good. I mean, it was really cool. We had like our individual scenes, but then we had scenes where there were like 20 superheroes there in this big airport airplane hangar. And, it looked like and felt like, and I think that the fans will feel like this is a big 3-4 hour movie that we're putting on. It's really cool.
You and I also just like this week picked up a really intimate scene.
I've been spending more time with you than I'd like.
Sorry. It was a nice scene.
Melissa, this is, Supergirl teamed up with The Flash last season, but this is your first really big crossover with everyone. What was it like getting to work with everyone, and how does Kara get along with all these characters?
Well, I think Kara just wanted to be accepted and be like a part of the cool kids. And I felt the same way. And it was so fun to just be in this big group setting where everyone was this like infectious environment where we all, it felt really cool. But she had like good interactions with almost everyone there. These two are funny.
Yeah.
Grant, how about for you? I mean, you've done a couple of crossovers now.
Yeah.
How do you think this one differs from what we've seen the past couple of seasons?
Well, it's just a lot bigger, right? I mean, last year was Flash and Arrow, and now we have like 17 characters in multiple scenes, and almost everyone interacts with like every other character at a certain point. So it's huge. It's huge. Hear myself. This is weird. Sorry.
Greg, we know the Dominators are sort of going to be the villain of the crossover. Is there anything you want to tell us about the crossover?
Well, we're very excited for everybody to see it. They all have their own continuing kind of storylines through it, and but it really does very much feel like in the middle of the whole season, like a 3-hour movie. It starts a little bit at the tail end of Supergirl, because she's in for those of you that watch, she's in a whole other universe on a whole other planet. So there's some, having to go get her. And then it really begins the night of the Flash with it's 3 parts. It's called Invasion. The complex that they talked about shooting in, this is a fun little thing. We found an exterior shot for us on TV when they always cut out to the exterior of the building that looks a lot like the Hall of Justice. So we like that.
Nice, awesome. Stephen, during the crossover, we're going to get the 100th episode of Arrow. Congratulations, first off. What does it mean to you to hit this milestone?
I mean, I'm incredibly grateful for everything that Greg and Andrew and Mark and Wendy have done and created. And, the 100th episode, I know some fans were like, well, will we get enough Arrow during the 100th episode? To me, the 100th episode basically had to be a crossover because it's sort of emblematic of everything that we've been able to create and foster and help grow. Obviously, all of these shows stand on their own, But the crossover and Aliens and watching Oliver react to Aliens is one of my favorite things that I've ever got to do. But it gives us a chance to do something for the 100th episode for the fans that in the normal course of our season, we would never be able to get to do. And, you know, for that, I was very grateful. And to work with all the people that I got to work with or hadn't worked with for a very long time on the 100th episode, I was very grateful.
So, Greg, looking back to the beginning of Arrow, what do you remember of casting Steven and then eventually casting Katie, casting Grant, and Melissa?
Well, Melissa, Stephen, Grant were all the first people that walked in for the part.
Lazy.
We also have an incredible casting director named David Rappaport, who helped us find Katie as well. Anyway, so I mean, they each. I think we were always looking for, having loved the comic books growing up and the characters growing up. You're really looking for, I think, the spirit and the heart and soul of the character more than necessarily someone looks like this or has this kind of affect or whatever. And they each really, I think, embody so much of what we see these characters as. And they're all, knowing each of them and working with each of them, they really are, in a lot of ways, my personal hero. So I think they have that attribute inherently, and I think it shows on the screen.
What do you guys remember of your audition stories? Katie, how about for you?
Ooh, I didn't know who I was auditioning for at the time. They made fake sides. There was a character named Lisa, and I remember going in there and just sitting down on the ground, and they were like, "Do you want a chair?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good." And then. I did.
Is that true?
Yeah, I did the first scene on the ground.
Okay.
I'm fine. Leave me. And then I
weird
remember
actor.
thinking oh, that's it, nothing else is it's done. I didn't get the part, and I got a call, and they're like, "We need you to come in. Stephen Amell is coming to town to do a chemistry read with you."
Mr. Stephen Amell.
Mr. Amell. And then I was sitting in the parking lot before the chemistry read, and I was really nervous. And I was kind of amping myself up. And then I just see this guy getting out of his car, and he's ugh, and I was like, Mr. Amell?
I was a big fan of Katie from Mad Men.
No, I didn't.
It's a true story. So it's I was excited to meet her. And I remember my audition, I was in a room, and again, I was the first guy that was in. So Greg apparently had said, all right, because the audition was at his office, and Greg was like, okay, if you have anyone interesting, come knock on my door. And then I did my audition, and David Nutter was like, can you wait outside for 5 minutes? And I was in the room the first time with 4 people, and then when I came back in, there were 20 people there. Did the exact same scene, and that was it.
What about you for you, Grant?
It was a 6-week process. It was an initial audition with David Rappaport, and then they brought David Nutter in, who directed it, and then I think Greg and Andrew, and then multiple screen tests. I did one screen test with Emily, on the Mentalist set, on a police set at Warner Brothers. Yeah, I don't know. I just remember I had a stomach ache for 6 weeks because I was so nervous, and yeah, it worked out though. So.
And you had a long casting process too, right?
Yeah, mine was very similar to Grant's. I think my initial audition was 2 years ago, Monday, on Halloween. Wow. It was a Saturday morning that I went in, and I thought there was no chance in hell. I was like, I can't play a superhero. And I thought I was too big of a goofball, but I think it was a couple months. It was 2.5 months and multiple screen tests and just kind of hanging on and hoping and still not really feeling like it was real when it actually happened. But yeah.
Just how far it can.
Okay, so Katie, let's talk about Sarah. She's kind of become the leader of the Legends of Tomorrow. How comfortable does she feel in this position?
I think she's kind of naturally been backseat leader with Rip, so she's kind of used to it a little bit, but now that it's actually her responsibility, I think it's kind of stressful because now everything's your fault. If something doesn't work, it's your fault. If someone gets hurt, it's your fault. So dealing with this new kind of level of responsibility And she's kind of got to get her act together because, you know, she was just hanging out with like Captain Cold and Heatwave, and they're messing around, and now it's like she's in charge, so she's got to get it together.
So on The Flash, Barry Allen turned the timeline upside down with Flashpoint. Grant, how much do you think Barry may feel guilty, or how is that harboring with, you know, those feelings harboring with him, like moving forward
Yeah.
as we see stuff like Caitlin
Yeah.
getting powers because of it?
Barry's got a lot of feelings, you know. He's a sensitive guy. Joe's other daughter. Yeah. He beats himself up, I think, quite a bit. So I think it was a last-minute judgment call when he decided to run back in time and, spoiler alert if you're not caught up, and save his mom and create Flashpoint and everything. And as soon as he starts to realize what the repercussions are, that he's erasing all these relationships and these moments from not only his life, but other people's lives that he cares deeply about, it weighs on him heavily.
Greg, what came with the decision to shake up things so fundamentally, and do you see yourself ever going back to that original timeline?
I'm not sure that we can, given what we've established. But I think the shows are always evolving and growing, and we like to, at the end of the year, we take stock in the stuff that we did, and we ask ourselves, what do we think we did well? What can we do better? And if we're not challenging ourselves and creating new territory and new obstacles for the characters, I think it's less rewarding to just watch, and hopefully probably less rewarding to play. So I think we like to, grow ourselves and grow the characters, and so it was one of those decisions.
Now, Melissa, we're going to get a Supergirl Flash musical crossover this year. How nervous are you to be singing on the shows?
I wouldn't say I'm nervous. Are you nervous?
I'm nervous. That's why.
They should sing something right now for everybody. You could.
No, we could what?
Sing something.
Oh, yeah, that's not happening. I'm sorry, guys. That's literally not going to happen. I'm sorry.
But how are you guys feeling about doing that episode?
I don't know what to expect yet, to be
I don't
honest.
either.
So
I think the possibilities are endless of what we could do and what's there, and I can't even fathom what it would look like or feel like.
Just putting trust in the guy.
Now, Steven, Dolph Lundgren is soon coming on as the villain Kovar. What was it like to get to work with him?
I mean, I haven't told him this, but like Universal Soldier and He-Man and Rocky IV were three of my favorite movies as a kid. So working with him, he brings a different energy to the show. I mean, the first time that we meet him in episode 506. It just feels different. Even the way that it's shot, he has this big speech, and it's just one long continuous shot. And he came prepared. He was invested in the show. He's excited. He's been a real pleasure to work with so far. And we're probably going to fight at some point. So, I mean, come on. Come on.
Supergirl.
I have always been curious. I don't want to start an argument on this stage here, but who do you think would win between your four superheroes?
Supergirl.
She's got
Supergirl.
She's
vision.
an alien.
She flies.
What do you think, Steven?
Experience. Experience. I'll let you two destroy each other, and then I'll come in and mop up.
You'll see some of that in the crossover.
Oh.
There
we
it is.
go.
There it
There we
is.
go. So I've always been curious, you guys, what does it take to actually suit up as a superhero? Can you talk a little bit about going through that stunt training, how hard it is to put on those costumes?
My costume's easy. Super easy.
Yeah, I mean, technically I can put mine on alone. I have someone that helps me, but that's it. So it's
Yeah, mine is definitely not a one-person job. It's extensive to get into.
Yeah, I need help. I can't dress myself.
Either.
But and the training for it is like my favorite part when we get to do all any rehearsals and stuff for the fighting, and we did a big sword fight in our last episode, and that was really fun. So that's
you
actually one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, you should check out Katie's Instagram because you put up a video, right? Of like about, yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Katie kicks ass.
So enough from me. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear some fan questions. Now, also, I should tell you, whoever got those questions right during the Supernatural panel, Sam is back by the voice activation for you to win your prizes. So you can go back there after the panel. First, let's start up right here. Go ahead.
Oh, at the movie theater.
Have you guys ever raced before? And if not, will you guys race? And who do you think will win?
Do you mean Melissa and Grant, or like
Just racing for fun.
Everybody, like all of you guys. Yeah.
Like a 100
Like
yard,
our-
like a 100-yard dash.
like
yeah, like in
on
your
our
suits.
characters?
in our suits?
Yeah.
No comment.
No, we haven't.
I'm more like a cool stroll.
I had an effects guy when we were on a track last season that wanted to race me. His name's Scotty, and he wanted to race me. I was in my suit, and he swore he was gonna smoke me. And he was like wearing a like work belt and stuff, and didn't want to take it off. And I smoked him. And yeah, I don't know why he wanted to race me. That's the only time I've raced someone in the suit.
Yeah.
Okay, we got, who do we got over here? There we go.
Go first. Hi, my question is for Greg, actually. I'm a big fan of Candace Patton and Iris. And
She's
I'm
terrific.
Yes, she
Candace
is.
Patton.
I'm actually seeing her today at Stanley.
you are?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
So superhero journalism has always been a big part of superhero comics. So I wanted to know, how will you incorporate Iris's journalism arc into this season?
Yeah, I
So-
mean, you know, ever since she became aware of obviously Barry's secret toward the end of season 1, she's been more integrated into the mystery of it all. But, you know, she has her own dreams and her own pursuits in terms of journalism. And, I mean, the classic trope in the comic books is always like, that gets the journalists into trouble, you know, and then they usually need to get saved. But I think what we do on our show is she can save herself plenty. But she's very helpful in terms of figuring out some of the bigger mysteries that are going on this year as a result of her journalistic capabilities. She lives on her own now, but we do deal with her living situation in terms of Barry and her later in the year.
Oh, we got another one over here.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
My name's Ebony. I'm super excited. Melissa and Grant, I've loved you since Glee. Katie, you've always been awesome. And I cannot believe I get to speak to Stephen and Mel right now. Living the dream. So my question is for all four of you guys. How has your relationship changed with the fans, you know, being part of a genre show and being like so active on social media?
I mean, for me, it's been really interesting. And John Barrowman explained this to me during the first season. He said, you know, the first year of a show, you're like a guest in people's homes. And then the more that you come back for a second season and a third season, you become like family. You become expected. And I think that, I mean, the best example of that is not with Arrow. The best example of that is with Supernatural. And, you know, how passionate their fans are. And I remember when that EW cover contest was going on, Suzanne Gomez, who works in the PR at the CW, was like, you know, you should start pushing that. And I looked at her and I go, Suzanne, we both know that Supernatural is winning. And of course they did. And so, you know, it's just, it's been great because, I mean, I've met people, I've seen people grow up. It's been a crazy journey getting to know the fans, and I hope that it continues because, you know, I heard Jared and Jensen say it, and it really rings true. Without you and without the continued support, there is no show. So it's been really incredible.
Another one down over here.
First of all, Stephen, I really admire your online presence and your connection to the fans, so thank you. But my actual question is for everyone, and it's, what was your first introduction to superheroes in general? Was it a comic book, and when, and what was it?
For me, it was Christopher Reeve's Superman. I was like, probably like 6, and yeah, it created a deep, lifelong obsession for me.
Same for me. I was not 6, but same for me.
I think mine was What was the Batman with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Come on. Stop it.
Batman
And like
Forever.
the penguin was so scary to me.
Batman and Robin? Nipples on the bat suit?
Robin.
Nipples on the bat suit.
What about Clooney?
Mine was Batman too, but Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
With Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer, and the penguin scared the bejesus out of me.
Yeah.
Mine was the original TV show Batman from the 60s, which I watched in reruns.
Yes.
What? Still.
He looks amazing.
Over here.
Hi, Allison. Episode 215, Arrow, when you woke up with the mouse on your chest.
Yeah.
Were you like really disgusted by the mouse because it kind of looked?
Yeah, that's right. Two things scare me. Zerks, which are these little explosions that go off on your chest, and mice. I didn't like it. I was not a fan. They brought in a mouse trainer and everything. I didn't trust that person. Okay? I was like, they were like, I said to them before, I'm like, set this shot up, get the camera move, be ready, because I'm doing it one time.
What's a Zert?
It's so when you see, if you've seen the preview for episode 505 of Arrow, you may notice that Oliver gets shot directly in the heart. So there's a little explosion that they strap to you.
Isn't that a squib?
Yeah, I thought that
Yeah, sorry, a squib, not a Zerk.
Zert are the things they actually fire around you.
Yeah,
the
we're
little
not
plastic
allowed
balls.
to use those on our show because
I've been
one hit me in
many
the
a
head.
times, yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry, a little squib. And it's terrifying because it's a little explosion that goes off on your chest, and your first inclination when that happens is to look down, and that's the opposite of what you want to do. You want to look up. So they terrify me.
Electrolytes plus more.
We got one over here, and then I want to go to this little Flash kid. He's been sticking up his hand for the whole time, so him after her. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much for coming out today. So overall, as the show continues and as the characters like drop out, does the behind the scenes and your interaction together change a lot?
I don't know. I think it's an ever-changing experience.
Yeah, I mean, you become really, you spend more time with people on your cast and your crew than you do with your family in a lot of instances.
Constantly evolving relationships.
Katie consistently comments that I basically behave like a 12-year-old boy at all times backstage, much to her chagrin.
Vacation Steve. I think it is. You get closer to everybody because you just spend more and more time together, and I really love it because you'll meet somebody, like I love Candace, but it took us a long time. Like we'd have to see each other a bunch of times until finally we were like, oh my God, we should be best friends.
Little Flash?
Me and my twin sister watched The Flash and Supergirl, but I have a question for Flash. When would they bring back another bad speedster?
Very soon. Very, very soon. You won't have to wait long at all, I promise.
What's that? He has a follow-up.
Is it the season 19 Wells or 17? I mean, I'm not.
No spoilers.
Earth.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about this speedster who's coming in?
His name is Savitar, and he's the god of motion. So Flash is up against his biggest foe yet.
Nice.
He's scary.
How about another Flash here in the center?
For Grant, what was your first impression of Barry Allen in either the comic books or the show?
I had known stuff about, I didn't know a lot, but I knew like the gist when I auditioned for the role. And I started reading the comics as soon as I started auditioning. So I had a feel for the character already. So it was kind of a very gradual, view of him, because I had to build it as I developed the character. And I think we've kind of developed our own version of Barry that's never really existed. So I don't know. I put a lot of myself into it, but just draw from the comics as much as I can for kind of the heart of the character, I guess. Yeah. Wait, we have to get this kid in the yellow right here, because he's, yeah.
All right, let's go. Shout it out.
Yeah. Impulse.
No immediate plans.
He's
Sorry.
so
Sorry, bro.
sad. You just crushed him.
You can go home now.
Let's get another further back one. Go ahead, you two girls right there. She said, when is Elicity getting back together?
I don't know. I just read the scripts.
I'm not sure. I can't say anything about that. But I mean, obviously they work together every week, right? And they're very close. And I can't imagine anyone that would ever be in either of their lives that would replace the other person.
Yeah, we haven't really discussed like our relationship yet this season, but we do discuss. Oliver and Felicity discuss a little bit about the relationship and, you know, where it is in this week's episode. Yeah. Fun scenes.
Sarah will take care of your girl for you.
Please.
We've got another one right here.
Hi, this question is for Melissa. We flew all the way from Chicago. I just wanted to ask, what are the similarities of Supergirl and Melissa? And can you please sign my Funko Pop?
Sure. I have many more similarities with Kara Danvers in her Catco glasses wearing dorky self. Like that is very similar to me. I don't know if it's just because the character rubbed off on me playing her. I've just become way more of a dork. But I don't know. Yeah, that is where my personality is closest to the character.
Okay, we've got one more question. I'm going to go to Arrow here in the center. Green Arrow, come on.
Hi, I'm Anthony, and I have a question for Stephen Amell, my best favorite actor that I want to meet for the first time. All right, so let's see. What do you like, the Arrow or the Green Arrow? Because I know that Ra's al Ghul ruined your everything, that Roy is the Arrow, and
Yeah.
you know, you're the Green Arrow now.
You know, I've actually got a chance recently to play that sort of earlier version of the character that we saw in, you know, in the earlier seasons. And I gotta say, I kind of miss that guy. You know what I mean? And I feel like that version of the character was very two-dimensional. And then the counterpoint to that character was a little bit two-dimensional. Killing, not killing, no in between. So I like the version that we have now because he just seems more three-dimensional and more like dealing with the situation as it comes up. But I feel like there's an opportunity, and again, this is a very important year for us because the show was conceived as a 5-year show, and you know, I'd like to think and hope, and with the support of everyone here, that we would keep going. But there is an end point this year that we could only do in the 5th season, and I hope we do it. No spoilers.
Real talk, though, how excited will you be to finally put away that wig and not have to wear it again?
Think about it every day.
Thank you guys so much for coming out today. The Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow on the CW every week. Thanks,
Thank you guys.